What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here, and we have every track from Crash Team Racing here. I'm going to be telling you about them all, give you some tips and tricks and preparation for Nitro Fueled if you're a newcomer, sort of help you out some. Anyways, this is Crash Cove. It's sort of a baby park-esque level from Mario Kart, just a big, simple circle. Well, Mario Kart is a small circle, but here we have a quick shortcut that you can get by jumping up a small bump in the dirt. It's actually a lot easier than it looks. But there's not much to talk about when it comes to this stage because, again, it's just a big circle. You can go on that pirate ship out there, but it only slows you down. It's more for extra challenges in the adventure mode. But yeah, we're about done with this lap already, so on to the next track, which is Tiger Temple. This is another small track. It's a very simple hairpin thing, but it has a lot of ramps and jumps to help you get used to jump boosting, which I will go over in an advanced how to play video, like the simpler one I made a while back. Now upcoming, we have a shortcut that you can only get with certain items that do damage, like missiles, bombs, aku masks. You could throw a potion at it. But yeah, it opens up that quick door and you can skip one of the last turns, and pretty much from here it's just a straight shot to the finish line. Just a very simple hairpin shaped track. A lot of these first tracks are very simple and quick, but now we enter Blizzard Bluff. There is a shortcut here, but I have not quite mastered it yet. Because of the slippery nature of all the snow here. It's not too bad until you get onto the patches of ice, like right here. But it is a bit more slippery compared to other tracks. You can probably tell by that little skidding sound from the tires on the snow. But yeah, not much to say here. It's just a very simple snow track. I believe in Nitro Fueled they're gonna have extra details like Polar Bear's DJing, but that could be Polar Pass, I don't remember. But now we come to Coco Park. No shortcuts here that I know of, there could be some. But this is another very simple circuit track. I don't know what it has to do with Coco, but it's a pretty track. It's got lots of flowers and mountains and trees and... oh yeah, I like this tunnel area. But the track is very, very wide, so it's difficult to go off-road here, which is good. It's a good beginner track, if you want to practice a lot. Just like snaking and stuff, because if you're snaking, it's very hard to spin out of control here, since the track is so wide. But now we come to Roo's Tubes, one of the boss races. This is where you'll race Ripperoo in the adventure mode. But as a track on its own, it's pretty cool. It's underwater. I guess it's based on the underwater levels of Crash Warped, I'm assuming. Because it does have those tubes that you swim through. And again, it's underwater. There aren't any underwater levels in Crash 1 or 2. Don't know what it has to do with Ripperoo besides having his face plastered everywhere, but yeah. Easy track. No shortcuts besides that patch you had to boost in at the end. But now I come to Dingo Canyon, Dingo Dial stage. I don't know what it has to do with Dingo Dial, but I still imagine he could be hanging out here. I could see him hanging out in a place like this, just because of how his character is. Just Australian, you know, just red cliffs, red rock. It's cool scenery. But no shortcuts here either. There's alternate paths, but they're both about the same length, as far as I can tell. But yeah, the whole thing starts off with you going down the cliffs and then slowly climbing back up, and we're almost to the end of the lap. Next up we have Dragon Mines, or Dino Mines. Hold on, let me look at my episode list, track list. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is Dragon Mines. Sorry about that, I have the track list pull up. I don't know all of them by name for some reason. But as you can see, on the side there, we had a little tiny opening up. You can go in it, but it's a bit tricky to get through, because you could slow down and then get run over by the minecarts behind you. It's a very simple track. You just have to watch out for the danger of getting squashed by those minecarts. There really wasn't much to say here. Then we come to Sewer Speedway, my personal favorite track in the entire game. I love the sewer levels in Crash 2, and I like the music in them, and this is really cool because it also has the half pipes of the sewer levels. And you can just jump up them, gain crazy momentum, and reach this neat shortcut up here. It's a bit tricky for some, and you can go the full shortcut, but it takes longer. So I personally hop off halfway through the shortcut. But that shortcut is difficult for some. I like just goofing off on these half pipes here. Overall, it's a very super fast and fun track. It's a bit longer if you're going slowly, but if you play on the half pipes and gain some speed and momentum, you can zip through it pretty quick, as you can see like a 43-second time there. Now this is Mystery Caves. This is definitely not one of my favorite tracks in the game. The scenery just looks pretty similar throughout the whole thing, and even though it's a short track, it just kind of drags on for me, just because of how similar everything looks. You got those pools and turtle shells to jump over, another alternate splitting path like in Dingo Canyon, and then you got some neat little jumps with fireballs here, and that's pretty much all there is to the map. It doesn't change much beyond this, it just goes back to the turtle jumps once you get through the lava jumps. Just small jumps and big jumps through this boring brown scenery. I can't wait to see how they liven it up in Nitro Field, but for now, Mystery Caves is simple. It is simple. And now we're at Papu's Pyramid. This is a very beloved track. A lot of people think it's the best one in the game, and that's cool. You start off making these sharp turns as you climb up the pyramid. You couldn't make these sharp turns in Mario Kart. But yeah, there are plants that'll eat you, stay out of the dirt. And there's another shortcut that's pretty tricky to reach. You gotta make sure that you have plenty of boost, hop over this little thing here, and then you can even hop up here if you're still going fast enough and make the right turn. This saves you from losing speed of doing another turn and then coming down the steps. The vertical drop helps you lose speed, but doing that shortcut helps you keep your momentum and speed. We come to that last turn, drop back down to start the lap over for another pyramid incline, so yeah. And this is Cortex Castle. A lot of very sharp turns here. You have to get used to making good turns here to be able to do well at this track. Always go the left way, never go the right way. There's a Wumpa Fruit on the right way, but you don't really need it, because there's Wumpa Fruit all over this map. I got a little overzealous there, or overconfident, I guess. And this is a real sharp turn, but you can make it with braking in the air. It's neat. But there's no shortcuts or tips or tricks to well, there is a shortcut, but there's no real tips or tricks I have for this track other than just be careful with the sharp turns. I guess try to skip as many of those stairs as you can, because the vertical drops will slow you down. There's a shortcut on the left, but I wasn't gaining enough speed, so I didn't go to it. If you look, you can see, like, a slope there. You need a jump to get there. It's not a straight path. You need lots of speed, you need to make that jump. But yeah, that's about it to this crazy sharp turn track. And now we come to Tiny Stadium, or Tiny whatever. This is Tiny's track. I don't know what it has to do with Tiny. He never hopped around in the mud, but think of it like the Wario tracks in the Mario Kart games. He'd always have this like biking stadium, whatever you'd call it, motocross, whatever, with all the jumps and the mud. This is very similar to that. And it is a long track. It is one of the longest tracks in the game, with just brown and dirt and mud. There's some pretty sharp turns here. It's pretty boring. Sorry, this is one of my least favorite tracks in the game. It just looks very all the brown, and how similar it looks throughout the entire thing. I wish I had more to talk about. But yeah, I guess I'll just hum the music. I didn't prepare for what would happen if I talked about all I wanted to talk about for a track. I guess just look at me go. Oh, finally, the finish line. Woohoo. Almost there. And now we're at Polar Pass. This is a trickier track, in my opinion. There's no slippery ice patches like in... Oh, yeah, there is. My apologies. I got Blizzard Bluff and this confused. But yeah, this is one of the longer tracks in the game. You have to watch out for all those... all those seals that are going back and forth. This jump, I overshoot a lot of the time because I'm always at, like, top speed going crazy. But be careful not to overshoot those tiny jumps there. Over here is cool, you get extra speed. Now, there's a jump at the end of this cave that people know how to go over the wall. I don't know how to go over the wall. I did it once, and I cannot do it consistently. Those seals at the end just get in my way of gaining enough speed to do it. So yeah. But ice, be careful, it's slippery there. Just got a few patches of ice. And then one last jump out after this third one before making it back to the start line. It's a very fun track. They're going to add lots more detail like polar bears everywhere and Nitro Field. And yeah, I can't wait to see the full thing. Here's Engine Labs. This is another one of my favorite tracks in the game. It's pretty long, but it has some cool sharp turns and cool aesthetics that I just really like. You'll see one when you're going up here after you make this turn. This cool zoomy portal looking thing that you can go through. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess we'll find out in Nitro Field, but I think it's like a transport area. It's a different part of the lab. But yeah, there's like the one curve you'll get to in this entire map. The rest is sharp turns. Avoid this barrel. But I really like getting top speed just going up these ramps and just skipping over tiny little corners like that. It's cool how you can be going faster uphill than you go downhill in a map like this. It's really neat how the momentum in this game works, and this track displays it very well. Just the fact that you're able to get manage more speed going up. But now we're in Hot Air Skyway, Hot Sky Airway, whatever. This is Pinstripe's track, and I don't know why. I figured this would also be a Cortex track because he's the one who owns all the blimps. So this makes no sense. But Oxide Station may be like the final stage or final track of this game, but I consider this to be the more Rainbow Road-esque track because of how many pits you can fall into. But I still do like this track a lot. It's a lot harder to fall off than it looks. The tracks aren't as narrow. In fact, you're in more danger of falling if you like overboost than underboost. Like if you turn too sharp at a corner. You fall off on the inside easier than you fall off on the outside, if that makes any sense. But yeah, this track is fun. I like it because it twists and turns around itself a lot, so you can see drivers on other ends of the map as you're like far ahead. It's just nice to see where everyone is at once without having to look at the map. You can just see them driving along different paths as you're going. It's a fun map. But we're at the end. This is Turbo Track. No, Slide Coliseum. Sorry, brain. This is good for really practicing how much you slide. Like, don't overshoot it, don't undershoot it, or else you'll lose control. If you're going fast enough or doing it right, you can jump over those tires there. Jump over those little ramps. But yeah, this is great for practicing slides, like how much slide you should give and how little. Making sharp turns and all that. It's a pretty tricky track, to be honest. It looks simple, but it fools you. It fools you good. The sharp turns can get you a lot. Like you can get stuck through those patches of grass quite a few times if you're just drifting hard all the way. You gotta hop, make it soft. But now we come to Turbo Track. Now we come to Turbo Track. This one's also full of sharp turns. It wants you to learn how to manage your speed. Like, make sure you're not going too fast for the sharp turns, but make sure you're going fast enough to stay ahead of the competition. And you'll see what I mean by those sharp turns in a second. We're about to come up to them. Look at this. These are like very difficult 180-degree turns, and we got 3 of them here. 1! This one's pretty simple because it's the first one, but then we're going fast. Use my brake. 2. That was a little rough. I do a bit better here though. 3. Yeah. That wasn't too bad, but it is hard to lose control. It is the only unlockable track in the game, if I recall correctly. But yeah, now we're coming up to the final track, Oxide Station. This is the longest track, I believe. It feels pretty quick to me. Honestly, Tiny's Stadium or whatever, it feels longer to me, but I think this one is longer. I would describe it as a Rainbow Road-esque track because of how much it twists and turns and how long it is, but you can't really fall off. I mean, if you do, that's your fault. The track isn't really that hard, it's just long. But this is where you race Nitrous Oxide. He'll throw all kinds of Nitro crates, TNT crates, those potions like the one I just hit. Oh boy, I did not see it there. But yeah. There's not much to say about this track. It's very simple. You come outside the station and you get to some anti-gravity that's cool. But when you're inside the station, you're at normal gravity. And you make jumps the normal way. But yeah, that's about all the tracks in Crash Team Racing. Hope I gave you some helpful tips. Showed you some cool shortcuts. Gave you some warnings about some difficult areas for some tracks. And yeah. Hope you enjoy Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled when it comes out June 21st. Leopold the Brave out. Enjoy the rest of this track.